Okay, so this is Networking Essentials. And day 2, first week, Thursday. So basic network operations, any questions about the course, took care of those, and then we worked on the peer-to-peer lab. Went pretty well. We're going to hook those back up on Tuesday and wrap up the first chapter. So that's a good thing to mention right off the bat. You should have gone through the curriculum and gone through the quiz 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times or whatever you think it's going to take, so that you feel good about the content. And we'll have time in class on Tuesday to talk about it. Command line interface, we talked a little bit about that. We talked about file structures a little bit, and storing things. We store software and we store data. And the software manipulates the data and gives us information. Again, data, ones and zeros, we talked about that. Talk a little bit about end devices. We can connect in, wirelessly, or through fiber optic. Oh, by the way, we did an example here. My birthday. In technology, you would store somebody's birth date, and then the computer could use software to figure out how old you are. Makes a lot of sense. Metalcraft internship, haven't heard that that's been filled yet. Academic IT, we got a couple people that have showed an interest. We're working on defining that better. And then we have volunteer work at Mason City in their IT department. Tech Club, we'll get started talking about that Monday, 10 a.m., MH216. Okay, we talked about data, bits. We looked at the ASCII code for text. So this happens to be a capital A. This happens to be a capital B. If that's a little confusing now, it won't be by Christmas. Well, data represent ones and zeros. We do a lot with ones and zeros, especially when we get to chapter 4. Talked about end devices and their movement. The data flows through intermediate devices, through a firewall, out to the internet. Or there is a possibility you go into the main campus and then come back to that way. And we're going to learn how that functions. Looking at the big picture, the internet allows us to communicate to all these different locations connected to the internet. You know, Facebook really isn't in the internet, so to speak, but a lot of times people use the internet as a broad term that encompasses like all of this stuff. But really, the internet is the infrastructure that moves us from, let's say you're on campus here, or let's do this. Let's say you're at home and you send me an email. Let me use another color. What do you think? Green for the email. So the green, it goes through the internet, goes here, and this routing device figures out that it goes down here and gets stored in our email server. And then me, I'm in the IT area. Well, let me say I was at the coffee shop here down in Iowa City, and I go through the internet. Then I can go get my mail. Goes through the internet, goes here, gets my mail, brings it back. Just as an example. Okay. We talked a little bit. Yeah, we talked about insurance companies. We gave the example of the insurance companies, Facebook, and so forth. Then what we did to finish up the day, we spent quite a bit of time on the peer-to-peer lab, and that went pretty well. Okay, so you're going to work through the curriculum, and then on Tuesday We're going to set up the peer-to-peer lab, and then maybe even hook those switches together. We'll take a look at that, and we'll also finish up the chapter and talk about taking the chapter test. It'll be similar to the quiz. Hope you have a nice weekend. That's it for me.